In addition to what we're doing here, we also do case studies, which are typical case studies from Harvard and Stanford and Ivy and other schools. But even more than that, what we do now is we're doing live cases. For example, the CAM that's working on now is divided into teams, and they're looking at current business day problems for companies such as Yahoo, Tesla Motors, MGM, and so that they get to see what problems the real world are occurring, and they're going to try to solve them. And we'll see how much that they can be creative on cases like this. One of the interesting things also is the cross-referencing with the law school, which has worked very, very, very well for us. We create in-class problems for them. Ron is going to talk about a project that we're about to embark on with the law school, which is also very important. Our students have created their own clubs. There are entrepreneurship clubs, there's consulting clubs, and they're running it, not us. And it's their ideas, and they are our future. What we've got to do is give them enough education, enough experience to make those futures very, very successful.
One of those projects that they're doing this time is very interesting for the MBA, because they'll actually have a chance to come out and visit the incubator out there under the direction of Bill Bean. They've met with him, and they're going to have an opportunity to meet with the people who are occupying the incubator, but they'll get to see something that otherwise is just a foreign concept to them.
We also have a major business plan competition. To be candid with you all, we've been constrained cash-wise with the awards for the last few years. Since we started that program, where, as you'll see in the use of funds section, we're looking to raise some significant monies to have a world-class business plan competition. Last year, because of the cash constraints, candidly, two of the judges decided they liked the finalists and their presentation so much that they kicked in extra money to reward them as such. And one of those judges happened to have gone on to be the new chairman of General Motors. So again, we're bringing in the right people, and the students are learning and they're listening to what's happening. Business plan competitions take the edge off of just academics. Last year we had over 40 people competing, 40 presentations competing for 4 finalists or 5 finalists. And we've got a couple of the finalists in here now, but it's a great thing, and we'd like to continue doing that.
But you know, what Dick has described has really taken us probably 4 or 5 years to kind of put together, and it's gone through an evolution. What we've really done this year is try to add on to that list by doing some things that are rather different. We'll talk a little bit later about the need for participation on the part of our alums and friends of the college who have been successful. And so, you know, we need to create more opportunities. This year, we initiated a Tuesday afternoon lecture series. Due to conflicts with students, it wasn't overwhelmingly successful, but the students who participated thought it was a good idea and are looking for more opportunities. We just need to work on the time slot for that, and I'm sure that we're going to have a regular afternoon series just as I remember it. The second thing is we followed the pattern of the executive in residence, and we set out to put in an entrepreneur in residence. We had selected our first entrepreneur in residence, but it went wrong.
Well, you never can control anything. Some of you know a gentleman from California named Bill Harlan, who's considered one of the major wine kings, and he had agreed to be the entrepreneur in residence. And the same week we had him scheduled, he wound up winning the Wine Spectator of the Year award, which in his business is a big thing. So he's put us off for a bit. However, the CAM that we're presently working with has been invited, as was a CAM last year, to spend the day at the vineyards, some of his vineyards, and sample some of his good wines and see how they do it and how they run the business.
That's a trip not to be missed. I keep saying to Dick, we got to put off the evaluations for this course until after we go to Harlan's. That's just too good a time. A couple of other things that we've trying this year. We experimented last April with a visit to an angel group. There's a group called New Dominion Angels. They have 2 chapters, one in Richmond and one in Washington, D.C. The one in Richmond meets at on the second Monday of every month, and the one in Washington meets on the second Tuesday of every month. What happens is we've arranged to take 3 of our students to each of the meetings so they can see what goes on behind the curtain. What happens is they go, they have a social hour, they get to meet the people, do a little networking, and then they watch 2 presentations. Once the presentations are over, they dismiss the presenters. The students get to stay with the angels, participate in the discussion, and give their opinions, just like any other angel, as to the value of this particular business idea. And should the group decide that they want to go forward with due diligence, should the angel group decide, the students are automatically invited to join the due diligence team. These are a couple of experiences that you don't get very often. And Kirk, why don't you attended the first one of these, so why don't you come down and tell them a little bit about that experience.
Good afternoon. My name is Kirk Roberts. I'm a second-year MBA student in here. And a couple years ago, I'm from Williamsburg, and I was reading the newspaper. And there was an article about a woman who was talking about being an angel investor. And I thought, what in the world is an angel investor? And I really couldn't get my mind around what it was, how it worked, or anything like that. And then about a year later, I came here to school. A little over a year later, was a couple weeks ago, and I actually got to go to the Angel Investment Group's meeting in Richmond. And it was really interesting. We went up there, we met people that are kind of at the leading edge of kind of some investments that seem strange. Some of the ideas that were pitched were really interesting. And what got me was the fact that the members of the Angel Group actively pursued our opinions. So they had their 10-minute presentation, and we sat there, and at first the members went around and said what they thought. And then it got to myself and the 2 other students that were there. And we all had the opportunity to speak up and say, this is what we think. And we actually ended up giving the idea the lowest ratings of anyone in the room as far as going towards due diligence. And I think that was due to kind of a different perspective that we had on the technology. But the best part is that despite the fact that we were giving ratings that were totally different from the other people in the group, they used that as an opportunity to step back and say, well, I wonder if there's something that we don't see because our experiences are different. And we weren't just dismissed as, oh, they're students. We were kind of taken in, and our ideas were looked at and kind of as a different viewpoint for what was going on. So it was an awesome experience. I sat through the whole thing thinking, I can't wait until I can be one of the people that gets to speak during the member opportunity in the beginning. And it's totally due to my involvement in the entrepreneurship program here. So.
Now, Kirk, I understand that you're not only one of those people who plans to be an entrepreneur. You've actually jumped the gun and are starting another business here, although you have an entrepreneurial background. Tell them a little bit about what you're doing at the present time.
I actually came here about a year and a half after starting a kind of entrepreneurial division of my family's company. I entered the school under the thought of, I'm going to figure out how to do geographic expansion. And how do we build an organization that can grow? Our growth has been explosive from here in Williamsburg. I was in Raleigh this morning for work and came up here for this, and I'm headed to DC tomorrow for work. So we're all over the place, and we need to figure out how do we serve all of those markets without having to drive up 95 for 4 hours every day. And I actually entered my idea in the business plan competition last year. Mr. Nygaard over there was one of the people sitting in front of me. And we're actually in the process now of buying some of the equipment and gearing up for the implementation of our geographic expansion after I leave school. So it was a great experience to stand up, pitch my idea, have people give me critical feedback and constructive feedback, new things to think about, stuff that we hadn't considered before. And it's been an awesome experience, and I'm really looking forward to going forth. And I have a new idea, actually, for this year. I was speaking to a client this morning, and he had come up with this idea, And he said, I don't know what to do with it. And I thought, I know what to do with it, and I think I can make a ton of money doing it. So it was really cool, I mean, because this has equipped me. A couple years ago, I could have talked to someone with an idea that didn't know how to take it to market, and I wouldn't know what to do. I would say, oh, well, that looks really cool, and that would be it. And now I looked at it, and I thought, damn, this guy is on to something. And this is a problem that tons of people have, and he's got a solution, but doesn't know how to turn it into a solution for everyone. So,
But you do.
I think I do, and I'm going to try to do it this CAM and see what doesn't happen.
Just remember that the rule number 1 in the CAM is cash is king, queen.
Cash is king.
And
there we
the
go.
second rule is focus, focus, focus.
Yeah.
Get the one up and running.
Yeah. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.